Hey everyone, it's the Williams family with Grand Canyon Timberleaf on Instagram if you want to follow us. I thought I would give a little tour of how we manage our galley. I'm extremely type A, so it's a little organized. But first, the pantry drawer, I call this the pantry drawer. We use this for the pantry, all the snacks, the chips, bread, things like that go in here. And I've actually become very skilled at getting things out of the pantry drawer while we're at camp and I'm cooking. I can pretty much get to just about anything in the drawer that I need to, and I kind of remember where it is. Probably not the best solution. I need that new telescoping drawer that I saw online that's available now. But I take this off, and you'll see in the little time lapse at the end. I take this off, I take it into the kitchen, and I completely scrub it down every time we go camping, just to get any of the excess grease or oils or popcorn kernels or all the things that like to live in here, because I want it to look nice and new as long as it possibly can. So I clean it every time that we get home. So this is the pantry. These are our essentials in case we were ever out and we hadn't gone shopping. We have pasta, rice, Bailey's, Tito's, and recyclable, reusable cups, and then some steel cut oats. So those, see, these are still wet. We just had an epic monsoon crazy weekend, and it took forever to clean everything up, and I guess I missed that some of those were still wet from being outside. We got hailed on, rained on, it was crazy. Okay, so this is the left side of the pantry. These cookbooks are, I love cookbooks, I collect them, but they're also just because there was that much space and I didn't want things shifting around. So I found 2 cookbooks that fit into the space. That's what they're really for. But I do a lot of cast iron cooking when we're camping, which is a different post that I will have. So I thought that one was appropriate. And then my husband's green egg cookbook, because he doesn't even have a green egg. He has a different kind of grill. So this is, I always have bag balm for my hands when we're camping. It's very dry in Arizona. I slather this stuff on my hands, my lips, my nose, everything, every time. So this is always in here. Purell, a Sharpie, and a toothbrush to clean under my nails. So this is kind of just a little hand washing kind of station. I keep hand washing soap somewhere else, but then we have, these are trays that are available. Everything's from the Container Store. I just did one trip with all the measurements and found things to fill these spaces. So this is all my cooking. I use this for doing dishes, just to cut down on the amount of dish soap I need to use, and I can quickly do a dish with a very little bit of hot water. Tabasco lime drops for drinks, if you're sensing a theme here for us. Olive oil spray. This is another like essential pantry item, but it also is just keeping space from things from flying around right here. It fits perfectly. Salt. This nifty item I think came from Amazon. It is great. It is different types of shredder. I keep garlic in here, but it's also a measuring cup. So you can shred cheese, you can shred anything, and then just use this as a measuring cup if you need it. And then I always have garlic in my kitchen. We're really fortunate. We were able to go to French Laundry once, and I thought, oh, these are such cute little tins. And I think that a little bit of French Laundry in your camp kitchen is just amazing. But it keeps my cast iron chainmail, which cleans every pot perfectly every time. It is an amazing tool to have in the kitchen if you use cast iron. And then in here, it's kind of hard to do one-handed, toothpicks, because everybody always seems to need a toothpick. I actually try to keep paper at a minimum, but when brushing teeth, we always have our water bottle Yetis, and I just don't really want to put my toothbrush mouth on my Yeti that I'm using all weekend. So I do bring these little plastic cups, also just so I can hand the cup with the toothbrush to the 13-year-old and say, you need to brush your teeth, man. So that works. So that tray nests really nicely on top of our silverware tray, which then this can go on the table. It doesn't need to be in here the whole time. We have different kinds of silverware. These are actually inherited sterling silver from my grandmother, and I'm not going to polish silver in my house. So I use them for camping, because why not? They hold up great. They don't need to be polished. It's just kind of fun to have your grandma's silver in your timber leaf. So then back here, there's some more trays that we got. These are knives, can opener, fish fillet knife is in here. And then I just bought some better steak knives, because we'll have a steak, and it's nice to have a set of knives for that. So those just all nest right in here. It doesn't move around. We've gone on several trips now, really bumpy, muddy roads, four-wheeling, and everything stays great. This I always take out as soon as we get to camp. Salt, pepper, some garlic salt, and then tahini for your Bloody Marys. These are all of can openers, wine openers, and then I do have a quick temp thermometer. Well, it's not actually quick enough. I think I want to get a quicker one, but I do have a thermometer to check things when I'm cooking at camp, because I want to make sure nobody ever gets sick. And then at the bottom are all my fasteners. So my fasteners for keeping the tablecloth on the table, and then I always have some clothespins in here for usually used to close bags of potato chips. So these containers fit, as you can see, with a little bit of room. So you need a little bumper here, but you can have as many as you can stack with what you want in it. And then of course the ones that topple over the top need to be at the top. So for us, it's 2 of these long ones, 3 short ones, and then 2 cutlery trays that fit in here. So doing all this one-handed is interesting. And so everything just fits really nicely in there. Like I said, we've gone all over and nothing ever spills. I always have peanut oil because it works best with my cast iron. And sometimes, as a nice treat and a surprise, I make fresh cut fries for my son. When we travel, we go ahead and put our Yetis in the sink with the rubber mat that I use to protect our beautiful, wonderful topo map of the Grand Canyon. So I just use that to protect the sink and the Yetis. Just a word of warning, and I know Kevin or Alex or someone told everyone this, that you really can't shut this with things up here. And if for some reason you like to line up your Yetis up here, which it will close if they're all the way to the back, no problem. But at night and it's a little far forward and you're not paying attention, you will get one of these, which is super sad when it happens, but at least we have our first ding and our reminder not to put shit up there. But we do have our flowers. I actually put these up. They're fake, obviously. I put these up in front of the drain lines here for 2 reasons: to cover them, and it just looks pretty, but also to remind myself when I'm closing up at night. This is my reminder that everything needs to go, and these get moved down and it's nighttime, because obviously it's not going to close with these flowers up there, and they are my reminder. It's just so important that you really know like what you can put on here, that then it will close, and what you can't, because I've heard stories of people closing on a wine bottle and it just would be so sad. I do use these moisture absorbers. I bought them on Amazon. Everything will be linked, but I bought them on Amazon. I put one in the kitchen and I put one in the main cabin as soon as we get home, just to absorb any extra moisture. We're lucky we live in Arizona, that when we get home to Phoenix, it's kind of like a dryer anyway, but just in case. So these are from Container Store. They fit perfectly, and I'll show you how they work. Just clear plastic, so also like even if you're moving it on the countertop, it's, you know, it's not metal, it's not going to scratch. If you've gotten a special countertop, it's not going to scratch that, which I like. And then this one. So these are 2 different sizes. Let's see, bricks organizers. So we have a big square one, and then so there's this size, and then there's this size. It does come with dividers. So I have dividers for my spatulas, my wooden spoons, and then this is like my coffee station. I'm the only one who drinks coffee in my family, so I use this cooler, this thermos, and I really splurge on coffee when we're camping. This Cafe du Monde is amazing, and I always have a can for the Timberleaf. Some sweetener, some tea, and then these are actually shot glass lids from Tin Cup Whiskey, which is actually from Colorado. It's one of our favorites to drink with lemonade. And so I saved all of these, and that way we have some shot glasses, measuring things, and they're really durable. And so this is a coffee station. Behind it fits perfectly a Stanley French press and my coffee mug. And then this, I always make grilled cheese and soup when we're at camp. It's just something that really like satisfies everyone. This little pot holds just enough soup for the 2 cups that are in it, which are perfect. Like I said, I try to cut down on paper. We don't use a lot of paper products. So this is my little soup pot. It also can be used to heat up things. I use it to boil pasta for my son. It's pretty versatile, good little item, and it takes up so little room, and it's got those 2 soup cups in there, so it's really nice to have. Back here I always have my Dutch oven guide, which is a magnet, and there's really nothing to magnet it to, but how many charcoals you need to bake, to cook, to fry, to broil, use it as an oven, whatever. And then this is just a little pan that I have. I'm thinking about getting a stovetop oven, like one of the really rudimentary ones that are a design from the 50s. But I haven't done that yet, but I just use that little pan for all kinds of stuff. I always find a use for it. So all of this fits in here perfectly. So again, that's the Stanley French press, Stanley soup pot with cups, and my coffee, my tea, my Stanley thermos. I feel like I'm doing an ad for Stanley. I'm not. Nobody paid me. My grandpa always had a Stanley thermos and lunchbox. He worked at a chemical factory for 30 years, and he went to work every morning with one of these. So just always reminds me of him. So we have my grandma's sterling silver and my grandpa's thermos. So here is all of my cooking pots and our plates. So my mother-in-law found these. They're a melamine plastic plate. I think she found them on Amazon. I'll try to find that link. So there's 4 of them. They're just a really great base to use to hold a singular, really cheap paper plate to put food on, and then use it in your fire if you're able to have fire. It's not a fire ban, but just to have like as little waste as possible. It's just a really great tool. And then nested in here, yep, you guessed it, another Stanley product. This pot actually holds a big pot. So here's all the pieces that are inside. A big pot with the strainer lid. A really nice, actually, heavy bottom small skillet. It's great for eggs and making a grilled cheese sandwich or whatever. And then I really like these little bowls, plates. There's a trivet and a little, what are those called? The things you hold hot pots with. I can't think of what that is right now. So, and then that nests inside. This is a Silpat type non-stick for the inside of my Dutch oven, but it also acts as a bit of a barrier between the 2 metal pots. This is actually you can tell it's been shaken across. This is a over the campfire whirly pop, which is a popcorn maker. And so we'll go to part 2, which is under the sink. So under the sink, I was really worried about all of this fantastic equipment that's down here that does all the things that we love about our trailer. And I didn't want to put anything down here that was going to bang it, you know. So I found these are, again, from the Container Store. Oh, and of course, you gotta have a fire extinguisher. Found these from the Container Store. They're really great. I can just slide them out. This is all like camp cooking stuff. And I've got a collapsible charcoal chimney starter in here. This is actually the long handle for the camp open fire whirly pot. This is the lid. So the lid goes on here. It has this really awesome handle that you can actually use over an open fire, but you can also just use it over on your stove to make popcorn. And I can tell you from experience, this makes you the most popular person in camp if you camp with other people. And I always make popcorn at least one, if not more, of the nights that we're out and about. So all in here, I've got our gas hose for the gas stove. I've got emergency gas canisters here. Again, this is the foldable charcoal chimney starter because we had one of those big barrel ones and it just seemed like it took up a lot of room in the back of the truck. So this one's great. I have my gloves to be able to handle charcoal and my lid lifter. Everything in here that I need for cooking like over a fire or that has to do with a fire is in this basket. Well, it's a plastic bin. And so it just slides back here. And then you can see like it doesn't let anything hit against all of these important things that are here. So this is my like under the sink doodad, which kind of looks like under the sink at home. I always have these wax paper sandwich bags to put leftovers in because you can burn them in the fire, which is great, instead of like plastic bags. This is a pump to be able to use on a 3 or 5 gallon water container, and then you just can push the top little button here and it dispenses drinking water out. We were finding we just weren't drinking enough water when we were out camping, and this just makes it really easy to be able to use I'm trying to get to one. Here we go. Like this is a 3-gallon, and we have like a water treatment here in our house in Arizona, reverse osmosis. It makes 3 gallons of water and keeps 3 gallons of water at a time under the sink. So I can fill this up before we leave for camping, put the lid on, put it in the back of the truck, and then this is purified water from our house, didn't have to buy it at the store, reusable. And then this is rechargeable by USB, which you can recharge it while you're at camp, even on solar or just the battery, which is great. And it just sits on here and really is inviting, like, hey, you need to fill your water bottle, which is really great. So I have that. I have a drying rack here, a magic eraser, some dish soap, which I need to replace with cast iron soap for the National Forest camping, for the gray water disposal. I do carry baking soda cream cleanser with me. It's not harmful and cleans just about anything. Hand soap. This is a clothesline with some clothespins to hang up my dish towels. I always bring dish towels with me, the microfiber kind, and I try to hang them, use them, reuse them, let them dry during the day. So I just hang this up between 2 trees, and then we always have a line to dry stuff. Some tongs. I really am trying to get out of the habit of using paper towels, so I'll let you know how that progresses. So that just fits right in here. They fit perfectly. And then fire extinguisher. I do have, it's drying right now because everything got so muddy and dirty. I have this collapsible, I do have a collapsible 5-gallon with handles bucket from REI that collapses and sits right on top of this area here. It's just wet and muddy from the weekend, but that is what I use to put underneath to catch the gray water. And then that way we use that to either put out a fire, or it's also a great way for me to know how much water I've used, because if I've gone through 2 buckets, then I know that I, don't have a lot of water left in the tank. So in here is some long-wooden spoons, a couple of cutting boards, really long tongs. You can't see, but really long tongs for managing the charcoal situation with the Dutch oven. And then this is like my one heavy item that is in the kitchen in here, and I do have it's one of those like absorbent dish drying mats, and I use that to keep everything in place in here. Just kind of shove it in here. But this is a cast iron griddle that fits over the 2-burner stove. It's 2-sided. It's got griddle and grill. It's a great piece of cast iron from Le Creuset, and I had it in my kitchen here, and I never used it at home, and I thought, I'm going to use this camping. And so that is what I did with it. This goes pretty far back, so if you put anything in here that gets lost, it can get kind of hard to get it back out. I've had to ask my son to use his little fingers sometimes when something's gotten stuck back there, but I try to put it in kind of all where it goes, and then fit that dish drying rack here to keep it all secure when we're driving so it doesn't bang on anything. Haven't had any problems with that, because this would just come open into the back if you had something really heavy and it just came flying out. So this, then I put everything back in together here, and it just fits literally like it was made for this space. The only reason it looks hard right now is because I'm trying to do it one-handed. There we go. So So it just keeps everything, it always looks exactly the same when we get to camp. And that's how I keep everything clean, dry, cozy, and organized.